Good evening, everybody. President Obama, for all the world today, looked like a community organizer. The president assembling 5 Democratic mayors, the leaders of 22 nonprofit organizations, 2 universities, 7 members of his own administration, the police commissioners of Baltimore and Philadelphia, and 4 representatives from the faith community to talk about how to change policing in the aftermath of the Ferguson grand jury decision. There was not a single corporate leader, not a small businessman or woman, a union president, or even a Republican in the group. It appears that we are at this point that a man can say whatever he wishes without consequences or for his lack of respect for the judicial process and law and order.
You won the first round, Mr. Prosecutor, but don't cut your gloves off, because the fight's not over. Justice will come to Ferguson.
Al Sharpton, the fact that he was at the White House today gives you some idea on how the president intends to lead when a young black man steals from a convenience store, strong-arms a clerk, and walks down the block to punch a policeman while trying to grab his weapon. Those are incontrovertible facts and are precisely why a grand jury decided not to indict police officer Darren Wilson. Each of the statements supported by the physical evidence, as well as eyewitness testimony. But that didn't stop Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan from trying to incite more violence among African Americans.
There's a law for retaliation. Right. Like for like. Right. The Bible says, an eye, a tooth, a life. Because we'll tear this country up.
The president is himself now assailing the grand jury decision, taking presidential racial politics to a new depth. Tonight, we explore all of this, including why much of the national media simply refuses to ask tough questions about who Michael Brown really was and about the failures of his parents to give him a supportive and stable family, and why this president is calling for commissions and inquiry into police tactics and conduct without even mentioning the nearly 50,000 police officers who are assaulted every year and the hundreds of thousands who put their lives on the line each and every day to keep our communities safe. We begin in Ferguson tonight and the shooting and ensuing aftermath that led police officer Darren Wilson to resign over the weekend. Wilson saying in his resignation letter, quote, "It was my hope to continue in police work, but the safety of other police officers and the community are of paramount importance to me. It is my hope that my resignation will allow the community to heal." Wilson will not receive any severance from the city, but the cost of protecting Ferguson are beginning to add up. As Fox News correspondent Steve Harrigan now reports from Ferguson. Steve.
Lou, we saw some demonstrators last night. We're expecting another 100 or so out tonight on the street. So far, they've been largely nonviolent. There were 6 arrests last night, and we're expecting more of the same tonight. As far as the businesses here go in Ferguson, a number of them have been destroyed. Really, we're seeing a whole range of businesses that have been boarded up but are still trying to stay open. Businesses that have pretty much shut down, and the worst case scenario, those businesses really that have burned to the ground. As far as the owners go, they're saying they've been offered some zero-interest loans from the local government, but they don't want loans. They say they want cash to rebuild. As far as the cost for all this security goes, it's really starting to add up. The governor authorized triple the number of National Guard after the violence last Monday to more than 2,000. The bill for the National Guard already more than $4 million. Add in police overtime to that as well, and it's really rising steadily. A number of lawmakers asking who's going to pay for it and where that money is going to come from. Lou, back to you.
Steve, thank you very much. Steve Harrigan from Ferguson, Missouri. The FBI